I've never done this before, but I'm going to try to do a video. So this is walking up to our house in Oxford, and we pretty much have a tree in every room. Some have more than one tree, and you can see up on the balcony there are 2 trees up there. There's another tree you can see through the front door. Before I go inside, I'm going to take a little peek around the corner here, and there's a porch swing. You can see into the dining room. It's a Merry Christmas sign over there. So we're going to go in. So entering our home, you can see the very first tree. This is the main tree. We don't really have a name for this. It's often called the Lenox tree because it has a lot of Lenox ornaments on it. I want to go and look a little closer here. Clock ornaments are one of my biggest collections, and this tree has several of them on it. And I just noticed I don't have the candle lights on, so I'm going to turn those on. There's candles on this tree. Tree toppers, I like to put stems. This one has about 18 stems of 4 different types of leaves and flowers. I also like to put poinsettias on the tree, and stems and sprigs of things on the tree. This is the living room this year, and I have a nativity collection, and you can see that in there. I like to decorate the mantels and blend them with the tree. The second tree over here, see if we can get a good view of this. This is a green and brown theme tree. Pretty much I just put every ornament that I had that was green, brown, gold, and white colors on this tree. There's also clocks on this tree. There's also birds on this tree. There's an owl at the top of the tree, along with about 12 sprigs of edelweiss. I also like to put wreaths on the doors. See if I can get a better view of this. Not really. I did add wreaths to the windows this year. That was fun. And I decorated the organ like it was a mantle. So moving right along, it's the main tree again. I put garland on the staircase, and we're going to take a peek into the master bedroom. And there's a tree over here. It's a flocked tree. Doesn't really have many ornaments on it. It's hard to put ornaments on a tree like this, but this is just some big icy looking balls, and there is a old-timey angel star tree topper up there. A few other little signs like this one. I do have presents under this tree. I'm going to go back and look at the main tree and the second tree I showed you, because I don't normally put presents under any of the other trees. They just go in here for our family, so that they're not out for the world to see. This is a village that I put in the bookcase. It's a little scene. A little collection of small Christmas trees there. And this mantle is decorated with candlesticks, garland, and some wooden angels. 2 little Christmas trees over there. Our bed. So I'm going to go back and look at tree 1, because I forgot to show you what's under the tree. I like to put vintage toys under the tree. This one has some dolls and some old, like an old wooden car, an old wooden Jack in the Box. Some more dolls, some more wooden furniture. A ladder, some little stuffed animals there. This is an old tricycle. And here is a doll in an iron chair. I think this doll looks like my daughter Whitney. She's pouting. These little toys under the tree, a lot of them have been purchased by my mother, and she collects some of these things for me to decorate under the tree. And this one over here also has old animals with the movable arms and legs and dolls, and every doll under this tree is wearing green because that was the theme in here. There's a boy doll right there. So let's go back and we're going to go upstairs. We'll come back and go down that hallway. So up the staircase, there's Garland. This is my son Colby's room. This room has a nutcracker theme. I have crisscross ribbon on this tree and a bunch of nutcrackers and a clock ornament. Every tree has a clock ornament on it. This tree has nutcrackers underneath it and a few presents for people with David's family. There's a nutcracker collection over here as well, and on the mound. Some more up there. Do have some wreaths on these closet doors. And this is a patriotic tree. I like to call this my Trump tree. It does have a flag underneath it that says, "Make America Great Again." So next room, this little snowman village out here. Next room is my daughter's room. She is back home. These are not the normal pillowcases on the bed. This is simply decorated in here. I do have an ombre tree in here, and it starts out dark blue on the bottom, then a light blue, then silver, then white. It's a little doll wearing a blue dress on a sleigh right there. I'll get up a little closer to this so you can see. It's a Duke blue, kind of a Carolina blue, but we won't tell anybody. Then silver, and then white. The top has some white poinsettias and white snowflake stems in it, and a few snowballs. There's that snowman collection there on that piece. And this is a den that we use upstairs. And this tree has burgundy and browns in it. Most of these ornaments came from Walmart. They're just the shatterproof ornaments. I do have some of my clocks on here. And there's a few glass ornaments on here that fit with the theme. There's a dragonfly right there. There's a few birds on here and a clock. There's an ornament right there. So we'll go on to the next room. Down at the end of the hall, we'll go there in a minute, but that is an undone tree, and I'll tell you about that. This is the old master bedroom. It's now a guest room, and it has a pink theme. We do have an upside down tree, and the mantels decorated very Victorian, garland with pink, different shades of pink balls and the garland. So this upside down tree is a champagne color. It really shows ornaments very well. I have some clock ornaments on this tree, some pink flowers, pink ornaments, the pink butterfly there, lady wearing a pink dress, more clocks, pink angel, and these very pretty cameo ornaments here. Another one. But the best part about this tree is what is underneath it. So this canopied bed here was a gift from my mother this year towards my collection. The quilt and pillow on the bed was made by Martha Jean Tigg. The dolls, other than the one in the canopy, I purchased through the Facebook Marketplace, and these are all high quality dolls. Like this one's an Ashton Trake doll, and she looks like my new daughter-in-law, Kaylee. Another baby sleeping in the crib back there. Another view of the mantle. And then over here I have a dress form tree, and she's wearing peacock. The cape she's wearing is actually a tree skirt, and the big bow used to be on a tree when I was doing a peacock tree. There's a few peacock feathers accenting hers. The jewelry was just stuff I had in my jewelry box. This house, by the way, a little man in Oxford made this house out of popsicle sticks and toothpicks. And I meant to get wreaths to put on the doors and windows like we have outside, but I never got that. Should have done that. Another look at the pink upside down tree. So going down the hallway, turn some lights on. I'll call this the undone tree. This is a spiral tree. And this is the 12 Days of Christmas tree. So I have the partridge, I have the 2 turtle doves, and I have the 3 French hens, and the 4 calling birds, and the 5 golden rings. And down here is the 6 geese of laying, and then I have the 7 swans of swimming. And down here is the 8 maids of milking. There's the maids with their pail, and that's all I have. I do have the pairs, and so I'm hoping to get for Christmas 9 ladies dancing, and hopefully by next year I will have the 10 lords a leaping and the 11 pipers piping and the 12 drummers drumming, and then maybe that tree can be done. This is actually a staircase to the back of the house, but we close it off at Christmas because there's a tree at the bottom of it. This, by the way, another interesting thing, was made by my stepfather. This is a riser, if you can see that. So he made it and stained it to make the tree stick up above the floor and not be stuck down. This is my son's room, Lance, and he has the snowman tree. His room is set up kind of like a little studio. He has his own couch. And he fixed all of this, by the way, with the pillows and the stuff under the tree. He seems to have learned well. But it has a snowball garland, a snowball topper, and some snowmen underneath it. This is a bucket of snowballs. So we're going to go back downstairs and continue the tour. There's a little collection of snowmen in here. Lighting's not good, but there is some snowmen in here. These are those all Hallmark fluffy ones. There's some wreaths on that door right there. Another look at the nutcracker tree. And now we'll go back down. You can see from the staircase the main tree in the living room. Here's a picture of the house looking from the porch. Gave this to David one year for Christmas. Another peek into the master bedroom and the mantel. Another view of the main tree. There's a little bench here. This clock is from Dottie Hughes. There's a little tree tucked in this niche here, and this one has Victorian ladies on it. And that pillow from my mother. This used to be a back porch at some point, but it has been enclosed, and we decorate this for Christmas. And this has a beautiful tree here. Let me turn some more lights on so you can see it. This tree here, called the North Carolina State Tree, it has red cardinals and red cardinal ornaments. It even has a birdhouse with cardinal there. It's got some bird nest with cardinals, some more cardinal ornaments, but it also has white dogwoods. So it's a red and white tree with a little bit of silver, and this display at the top was inspired by something I saw at the Biltmore, and I like the way that firecracker or fireworks kind of top looks, so I duplicated it. This tree also has some interesting things like this bark ribbon and some more bird's nest, some sprigs. All of these are basic trees underneath, and I just build them up. There's a wreath on the door to the back room, which nobody goes in. It's just a huge storage room. A little decoration here that was very basic, and I added some birds to it this year because it's sitting beside this bird tree. There are some wreaths on this door. These ornaments here were a gift. I put them in a couple of places. These kind of conical bird's nest with, this one has cardinals in it. There's some others up in the front sunroom area that had a different kind of bird. This little vignette here is just a bunch of alpine type trees and twig type trees that I put on top of the piano. A lot of people have asked if this is my daughter. It's not. This is my daughter-in-law, Kaylee Burgee Wicker. And she looks a lot like Jacqueline Kennedy. A lot of people have told us that, and I think that as well. Over here we have a silver tree, and this tree wasn't supposed to be here. It was supposed to be in my son's room upstairs, but he didn't want it, so I brought it down here, and I put blue jays on it so it would blend with what was nearby with the cardinals. And I call this the jaybird tree. It's got blue poinsettias and blue balls, and then these blue jay ornaments on it. And they call my brother Jaybird. So here's the kitchen, and we have an extra table here. This one closest to the camera is not normally here, but it's set up this way because we have company coming in. We need extra seating. I do have a small tree tucked in right here, and this year it's just decorated with poinsettias, different types, and a Merry Christmas ribbon. little wreath on that closet door. Here is the table setting. And these napkins are gorgeous. They were made by my second cousin, Marion Pitchford, and they fold like a Christmas tree. They're so pretty, but when I had company here last week, I would not let anybody use them. I took them away and gave them a different napkin because I don't want anybody to mess these up. But they're beautiful. This piece here has some lanterns on it and some garland at the top. You see a view of the kitchen over here. Hopefully it's cleaned up enough. We've had several parties here lately. This is a mantel in here. Needs more light. Some lanterns up there. This mantel was not here when we moved here. We had that built by David Stovall and installed. This is where we normally eat, and it's currently set. And to the side here is a little room that I have 2 trees in for the purpose of seeing them from the outside. And this is the caroler room this year. Both of these trees are, I call them the twin trees. They're decorated very similarly, other than the signs are different. But they have black lanterns and carolers on them, and black and red ribbon and white magnolias, and the tops are kind of a burlappy sprig topper with some berries. The bottom, I love these bottoms. There's this another riser to make these taller so that they are not so short. This is a tree collar, and I have 2 just alike. And the 2 risers so they look tall enough from the street. These carolers here, my mother gave me. These here, my mother gave me. My mother gave me these carolers. But on this side, these carolers were given to me by my mother-in-law. These Buyer's Choice carolers. A lot of people ask me, how did you get here? How did you get this much? Well, I have been collecting it for about 20 years, and I just keep reusing things. There's a little poinsettia stand right here. And in this corner cabinet, I put some houses. This little caroler piece here, my Aunt Phyllis gave me. It's my kitchen. Collected Christmas china as well over the years. That's the butler pantry over here, and no, we do not have a butler. Now into the dining room. Dining room this year has a rustic theme with a bunch of reindeer, and I've put a bunch of alpine type trees in here. There are no decorated trees in here. Reindeer on the mantel. This is my dessert stand. That topper there my sister gave me this year, and it works perfect here. This is the door to the outside. So over here we have a cluster of 5 trees that are not decorated, and I just have white felt fabric wrapped around the bottom, and 1 little snowman. It's a buffet. This is my new china collection this year that my mother helped me piece together the pieces I wanted. This, I don't know if you can see this, but I put a little village in these cake stands. We don't drink, but I do have a wine bar set up over here for some parties we've had recently, and these are not opened. Reindeer at the top my father gave me. So now we're back near the front of the house, and this I call my Stovall's inspired tree. I've bought a lot of the ornaments that are on it at Stovall's through the year. And this year I purchased this wooden church that lights up, and these poinsettia flowers with the copper bells. The interesting part about this tree this year is that it does have the family photos on it. There's my son. This is my new daughter-in-law's bridal portrait. It's me and my father. Here's me and David. Ralph and Judy. This is the Burgies, my son's new in-laws. There's Colby and Kaylee. There's Whitney. That's my sister and her husband Glenn. That's my aunt and uncle, Donnie and Phyllis. My nephew Jake. Looking for my mother. There she is. My mother and Bill. And there's my brother. We call this the Blue Room. Has a portrait of me and David over it that we did not sit for. This was done by digital means, paintyourlife.com. And the last tree I'm going to show you is this little tree here, and I made this tree for a specific purpose. These cameo ornaments were given to me by Ed Bartels. They were his mother-in-law's, and I loved them, and I created a tree just to display them. This tree already had most of the decorations on it. I added the cameos, added some red bells, and I added these little button flower type ornaments to it to dress it up. And that is the cameo tree. So I'm just going to give you another look across the front of the house. It's the living room looking into the sunroom. And we will end where we started, with the main tree. Merry Christmas.